I'm ready whenever you're ready. Yep. We're all
Please rise.
ready to go.
Pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all. Okay. All right. Hey, Tim. How you doing? Good. Okay, Joe, let's start off with your report.
Number one, the gas tank replacement and the diesel tank replacement. As you know, I got budget numbers last year before we allocated the money for these replacements.
Yep.
They were high, very high. So as I'm going through this with some of the providers, I thought about a different way to do it instead of going out to bid, which is by government contract. You can use, Onondaga did not have a contract for this kind of work, but Sourcewell did. So the materials are going to be done, we are in contract, under the Sourcewell contract. And the labor is under a county contract. So one of the numbers that I got for budget was $42,000 to replace this tank. I'm under contract to do it for about just less than $15,000.
Wow.
So we'll see how
Huge
this goes. I suspect it will. It's a big company across the river, but we'll do the same when it comes to the 4,000 gallon tank for the diesel. It's matching them with that memory code thing that tells who's who and they
Oh,
compare.
yep. Got it.
Yeah, that might be an issue down the road, but so far we're well under what we expected to.
Good. That's great news.
Your boiler is being replaced, started day before yesterday. The hard part's done, so should be done by Friday, tomorrow. Quotes for the emergency repair of the garage. I'm calling it that. If you look at the little sketch I did, we've gotten a building permit. The insurance company has been there. The engineers have been there. This doesn't fall under your policies and procedures as being bid. So I went out and tried to get some quotes. And of course I tried to get quotes prevailing rate, and I cannot get any. So.
Everybody's busy, you mean?
Busy, I did get a quote, but it's not prevailing wage.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure, and maybe you guys can have the attorneys take a look at this. In your policies and procedures, there is a emergency statute, municipal law, section 103, subdivision 4, which I have here. It basically says that you don't have to go to bid, but it doesn't say anything about prevailing rate, whether you still have to abide by it.
In the case of an emergency, you mean?
Yes.
And you would designate this as an emergency situation?
Oh, it's an ongoing emergency. Every time it rains, water pours in the building because there's 4 sheets of shingles on the building. There should never be more than 2. It's, it was built in 1941. The shingles are like this. What you see in your depiction there is the part of the roof that the insurance company is probably going to cover is the 2-bay garage. However, the shingles are contiguous with the 3-bay garage. In other words, they run right straight across. So you really can't tear off the 2-bay and without affecting the 3-bay. So the prices I got, I have here, I'll give you the one price, but it is not prevailing rate. Maybe we could look into it, the legality of it, and see indeed under that section 103 subdivision 4, that possibly it allows us to go ahead without.
I mean, we
Doing
need to
prevailing
do this,
wage.
we need to do this sooner
Yeah,
rather
well,
than later.
We need to do it soon, yes.
This is a
I
tree
mean,
that went through the roof of the building during a storm. That's the
Okay.
result of that.
So is the policy and procedure that you're referring to, is that the procurement policy of the town that the board adopted?
Yes. Yes, but there's all, no, here's cherry picked. It's on the bottom there. Here is. I don't have it here.
Yeah, I'm familiar with this exception to, it's typical in town procurement policies for emergencies, and I know that avoids the bidding process, but I'll need to do some research on whether prevailing wage.
That's our question.
apply.
Yep, that's our question, which would be helpful. If you have it, good. If not, I can run up and get it before you leave. So that's how that stands. We're sort of at a standstill. If I gotta go to bid, you're gonna have to pay about 10 grand for the engineers to do a bid spec, which is crazy.
Yep.
But that's what it is. So we'll see.
But we need to get it done before the winter months, that's for
We need to get it
sure.
done soon.
Right.
As I said, the rain, enough rain and then you get mold. So,
But if we have this settled by the next meeting, that will be soon enough in your mind?
yeah, I don't think the contractor could have gotten there. He told me 2 to 3 weeks anyway.
Okay.
So, I mean, if we could do it before that, it'd be great. Not, we'll have to wait till then.
My take is, based on what you've said, at least we can avoid bidding, and the board will have to make that determination and vote at the next meeting to avoid the bidding.
Correct.
Determine that this is an emergency, and then by that time, we'll know about the prevailing wage.
Okay. I mean, if this is something, Joe, that you want us,
Or they could declare that an emergency now. But
I mean, if you need to, if we need to call a special meeting to resolve this rather than put it off, that would be better. That's
yeah,
up to
or like
the
I said, if you
commission.
declared it an emergency, I could act under the guidance of that.
Mhm.
Prevailing wage would be the only other obstacle.
Well, it is an emergency. I mean,
Yeah, well, like I said, you may, to maybe
Right.
make a motion and
Yeah, I think you can
make
take
a
a vote on that.
declaration or a motion.
So I'll make the motion that, in this case, this is an emergency fix that needs to be done.
Yeah,
And
okay.
Along with what Joe was saying about prevailing getting resolved, but
Yeah.
yes, let's declare it an emergency and let's get it
Oh,
done.
do you second
I'll
that?
second
All in
that.
favor?
Aye.
Thanks. We're working on the budget, obviously. I look like I will be hiring someone this year. I have 2 possible retirements coming up in the coming year. We'll see. I can't really tell you, they don't have to tell me for a couple of months, according to your handbook,
Yeah,
ahead of time, so I'm not pushing anybody.
okay.
But that's about it.
Okay. Joe, where do we stand on the bridge replacement down on Canby and Oak Summit?
Oak Summit, we met last week, was it? Week before, with Colliers. We're ready to go. We're almost to the point, I mean, obviously it won't be until the spring.
Right.
I think the anticipated time for bids to go out is around the spring. Everything else, I think we're waiting for one little particular from DOT, but it's not anything monumental.
I mean, like the land acquisition that is needed?
Well, that's ongoing. That is already, they have already been notified and all of that, so that's
Okay,
being done.
okay.
So,
All right.
and to my knowledge, he said it wasn't going poorly, which is
It's good to
as
hear.
good as it gets.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Yep.
All
Well,
right.
one thing before we get off, Joe, again, speaking for the people that live on the Horseshoe South Road Burbank Road, anybody who uses South Road. I want to thank Deidre and Joe again for putting pressure on the county to get Route 82 done. That has been such a,
Unbelievable.
it's really improved the quality of life down there.
Yep, certainly has. Well, thank you for your help.
Joe, does Collier still have to go to the planning board for a wetland?
Excuse me?
Colliers, do they still need to go in front of the planning board for a wetland permit for
Oak Summit?
Oak
I
Summit?
advised them a long time ago that they did, yeah. Yeah, and to my knowledge, they do, which is, I'll say it, absurd, but yes,
Just
yeah. That's our law.
reminder.
Yep. They know.
Lois, you're sitting way in the back there.
I know. Let me scoot
Come on up.
over. Sort of normal reporting. The bank reconciliations for the checking and savings accounts, and including New York class, are done through July. I started working on August bank recs, and I have provided the bank with the current Bank of Millbrook and the New York class balances. In New York class, we are doing exceptionally well. So we have earned quite a bit of interest since the beginning of May.
Yeah, it was a great move, for sure.
It's
Yep.
wonderful.
I'm gonna need your help though to get, because we've got to get logged, new
Oh, you did?
login, and I'm
You
not
couldn't-
having much luck doing it,
Okay,
all right?
that's
I
always
just
the case,
put that
they
in
change
as a
something.
save.
It's
and-
ridiculous what you have to do.
Yep. Somehow I made it through, I don't know how.
Okay, well, you can show me then.
Transfer station invoicing receipts are posted. Monthly revenue from the Justice Court has been received through July. I haven't received August. I know that McKenna is away, so I'm sure I will get that as soon as she returns. We have the building department's August report, and I know Chrissy's working on her August report as well. I've provided you with the budget timeline again. I begin collecting and inputting data into my budget Excel sheets. It's a process of collecting all the workers' comp numbers, retirement numbers, and such. I asked the department heads to give me their budget by the 15th of September, which is Monday. I sent you an email and gave you grace of 2 days. Okay?
Thank you, we don't have to work on it over the weekend.
Only because I have to provide Chrissy with the whole
Yeah.
budget by the 30th.
Yeah.
So I have to have all the numbers in there, including payroll, and it's our requested budget, so numbers always do change,
Okay.
but the system I've developed isn't too bad to change numbers. And then proposing the meeting dates in October. We do have to get the budget to the board by October 5th. So we might have to meet, which is a Sunday, so we might have to meet very quickly, the first, second, third, whatever, the end of September, very beginning of October, that first week. And then you can do your homework over the weekend. And we can meet on Monday 6th, the 20th, and the 27th. October 13th, we usually do not meet it's a holiday weekend. And we can set a time for that. Did we start earlier?
Yeah, we
than
did,
6?
We usually came at 5:30.
Like
Yeah.
5:30-ish?
5:30.
So
I think it was
if
5:30.
those dates work, let me know. But we usually do the first Mondays,
Chrissy, you can send us those dates, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And really, that's about it.
Okay, no.
Yeah.
Can I have a question?
Yes, sir.
So this year, you increased the tax levy 5%. But the way you allocated it was you increased the town property taxes for village residents 17% and decreased the town property taxes for those outside the village by 2.5%. So for this new budget, have you done anything to look at trying to improve the equity of the allocation between what village
I don't
and
know.
town residents?
I did contact Maggie Burns at the county. Her answer to me was because the villages has left residents that, and I'm not an expert, you know what I mean, but she did say that because the village has less properties, that's
the little problem.
kind of like what happens. We have more properties in the town than the village has.
No, that's
And even though your
taken care of
tax
by the
rate
tax
is
rate.
lower,
That's why the two tax rates, one for village and one for outside the village. But at the end of the
right,
day, the tax increase ought to be a function of where's value being added or not. And if there's no difference, in other words, if the village was getting 17% more value of some kind from the town, that would make sense. But if the improvements are uniformly allocated, there's no reason why there should be a difference in the percent increase. And I think,
Yeah,
and
and I think the fundamental issue you have is that year after year, you keep increasing the fund balance you use to zero out your budget.
we
I mean, if
have
you-
been using our fund
Well, a
balance
few
to
years ago,
offset
when I
property
first
taxes.
talked to, what was your predecessor's name? Mary
Mary
Alice.
Alex? Yeah.
The fund balance you were using to close the budget was like $250,000. And her reason was because it was a carryover of a project that was budgeted one year and didn't happen. But if you looked at year by year, it's growing. And last year, year before it was 400,000, and this year it's 600,000. And the way you're allocating it is unfairly affecting the DB and the B funds at the expense of the A fund. So number one, you shouldn't be using fund balance to zero out your budget in the first place. But if you do for temporary purposes, there's got to be some equity in the way you do that across the board. Because remember, the allocation is based on, A fund allocated between town and village, and B and DB fund is all outside the village.
Tim, after the audit this year, the auditor and the comptroller's office have come back with recommendations on adjusting our fund balances. They have given us some guidance on how to move those fund balances, start to make use of those fund balances. So you may not see that same proportionality moving forward. However, the feedback I got when I inquired about your question last year on the mathematics of this, and the village has an extremely high percentage of non-taxable properties in it. You've got the school, you've got the churches, you got the cemeteries, you got the parks, you got the fire headquarters. Those don't get taxed, but in our assessment protocols, the spread of that gets moved to the residents that do pay the taxes. So you've got a higher we don't have as many not-for-profit entities in the town as you have in the village. So it does have a little bit to do with those properties in your town geographically that don't get taxed.
But that would result in the opposite of
No,
what's
it
happening.
doesn't, because it goes into the assessed value, but we still have to pay for what services are allocated in there, and therefore, it can't be applied to the people that are tax exempt or pay no taxes like churches. It gets applied to the people that do pay the taxes. So they're picking up a little bit of the burden of those entities that don't pay tax. So the percentage ends up being mathematically higher.
Then why is the change? In other words, 17% increase for village this year, 200% reduction in town this year is a trend that's been occurring over 6 of the last 7 years, but it's getting worse.
But
And I
it's-
think it's getting worse is because you keep increasing the amount of fund balance used to zero.
And
out
we're
your
addressing
budget.
that kind of thing, but it's still not going to bring the village down to an equitable level with the with the town. The village is still gonna end up perceptually paying a little bit more on that percentage when you do the mathematics.
That should be reflected in your tax rate. Yeah,
And we're not the only ones. I mean, if you go to for instance, the town of Washington, or the town of Wappingers and the village of Wappingers, you look at those same kind of entities, those kinds of perceived paying higher percentage always seems to fall on the village because of the structures of the village, particularly if there's a lot of no tax properties within that border. A church doesn't pay, cemeteries don't pay.
You know, what you're describing is something that is systematically a difference, right?
I think
What I'm telling
you
you
get
is-
hooked up on, you sometimes fall into looking at that division and what that percentage ends up, but it's more, we're trying to figure out, when we looked at all the formulas that we use, and Lois uses exactly the formulas that are required, we multiple times we plugged in the numbers. It always kept coming out with the same thing.
But you gotta look at the fund balance as a key driver.
Correct. And we use the fund, we have used the fund
Well,
balance for,
$600,000, 400,000 was applied to DB and B, and 200,000 to A. That's,
and even when
Totally
Mary was here,
terrible.
and even when I served under Fussy's, court, or not court, but, board, we always were very conscious, and we, as a conservative, fiscal conservative group, we always tried to tap those fund balances to keep us under what would trigger going over what's allowable. So we would borrow from all those balances to try and keep them down. But sometimes we had to use more than we wanted to. It's you know, from doing a budget, you're balancing all the time.
well, first off, I didn't use fund balance to do a budget.
Well,
Okay. And,
we do.
yeah.
Well, what is wrong with using fund balance to offset property taxes?
Correct.
Isn't that a good thing? Why would that
On an
be a
individual
bad
basis,
thing?
yes, but on a systematic basis,
Well,
it's just,
If I
That's a
don't use
philosophy.
fund
You're
balance,
arguing
then property
philosophy.
tax
I think
levies
if you
higher.
check the GASB standards, they'll say that it's not systematically supposed to be used.
Well, we have a different point of view. And neither could be wrong or neither could be right. We just don't, we were more concerned when you brought that mathematics up. Lois and I went back, and Bob, I think, participated. We went back and we pulled those formulas and we plugged it in, and every time we plugged in the numbers, it came up with that percentage
And I understand that they
that
are
appeared
patient,
on the
the formulas are
property.
correct, it's just that you're fudging the denominator.
The public seems
If I
to,
find Maggie's email that she gave me with the explanation, I will forward it to you. If you give me, I don't know what your email
Sure.
address is
I'll send you an email.
anymore, okay.
and I'm sure she would be open for a phone call from you if you have questions.
Less
Yeah.
properties in the
No, it makes
village.
sense. There is a lot more nonprofits in the village, percentage-wise.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Lisa?
Okay. All right, so I did review this last month, but now the numbers are final. We have 8 small claims court cases, 1 certiorari Article 7 for the town. I've started prepping with my comps for these hearings coming up. I'm on the later end of it, so that's kind of good. So I get to hear, it's a new judge we have this year. He's from Westchester. So there's a lot of unknowns to what, we're going to be dealing with. So, so at least I'll get some feedback from the others, which will help. I've spoken to a few of the parties already, so we'll see how that goes. Sales reviews are completed. I finished that by the end of August, which is the deadline. Doug and I met with a local reval vendor this morning, for quite a while, at least an hour.
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half, yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. No. Actually, even longer for me, because she was here right when I walked in the door. So it was good meeting, we learned a lot. So we'll address more of that. I don't know if Doug wants to speak to that more at this point, but.
Yeah, the vendor that we spoke with today, wrong page, sorry, I wasn't ready for this part. She laid out a timeline to handle data collection as well as the reeval. 2-year timeline, start to finish. She gave some pricing estimates for what it would include. Willing to work with the data that we already have to incorporate that in, and that would adjust pricing a little bit. All of the questions that I had, she had very quick answers to. Seems very capable. She works with 3 towns that border us, Northeast, Pine Plains, and Stanford. She has done data collection reeval for all of them, as well as is on a contract basis to help them with reassessment year in and year out, which is, I thought, very reasonably priced as well. I do have all of those numbers here. Again, it would be something that would she could start in the spring. Gives us time to budget for it and get it approved so that she could start when, I don't
Tentative
remember.
roll,
Huh?
post-tentative, after the tentative roll or final roll.
Tentative
You know what?
roll.
Tentative, she said some people want to wait till the final, but
Yeah.
it's fine.
Where's she based from, out of?
Wappingers or Fishkill.
Okay, local.
Local to Dutchess County.
She's
She
familiar
has,
with, she's familiar with this area too.
Yes. Works
Yeah,
for,
she's been in this area, worked in this field for 50 years, and
Yeah.
was an assessor for the city of Poughkeepsie.
Yeah.
And she does handle city of Poughkeepsie too.
extremely, yeah, I forgot, City of
Yeah.
Poughkeepsie as
Yeah.
well. Extremely well qualified. Well, I was very impressed with her presentation, even though she lost half of it in a trip from Canada back. Her baggage was lost en route,
Okay,
so.
Really?
Yeah, I have more data that we can.
Yeah, good, that's
Well,
good.
but it was very, first of possibly 3 that we'll talk to, but very encouraging for the first meeting.
Yeah,
Good.
yep, and she's, covers our area. The other companies we're already speaking to are statewide, just so you know.
Yeah,
Totally different ballgame, but let's, we'll still do it. Another thing that was interesting, she said that we could do it without doing RFP. It falls under professional, whatever it was.
Yep,
That is
professional
very
services.
common in this with revals to be handled that way, which, but we'll still meet with 3 vendors
okay.
anyway.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
Yeah, all the work would fall under professional services.
professional services, right. And we talked, Kathy and I spoke after it. We expect there probably will be some additional charges because of the issues with the commercial, not ever really being done, period. But
But
then
that might be
we'll-
offset by the
Right, and then
data
it'll be
collection that we
offset
already
by the ones
have.
that we've already done. She said she just would want to do verification of about 10% of the ones we've already done. So
Okay,
that's.
yeah, that's good, it's encouraging.
Yeah, yep, and, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We'll have more on that though, soon. And, I'm gonna be going to, the fall conference first week of October. So I will be meeting with, they have, all the vendors around the state are there, so I will be speaking to them then and get the contact information and set up the other
Good.
appointments.
Okay,
Okay?
sounds good. All right, thanks.
All right, yeah, and I'm still doing that, okay.
Oh.
No, it's okay. I did put about the part-time data collector, I think, we don't have that out right now, for getting resumes. Did we ever put it on New York's website, NYA?
No.
Okay, I'll follow up on that,
Yeah.
maybe, okay. So that way at least have it out there, because there's a lot of positions posted right now with the reappointments taking place October 1st. There's a lot of shifting around all over the
Okay.
state. So it's actually a good time to post it if we still wanted to move forward part-time, but we can speak about that.
Yeah,
I don't know if you still want to go in that direction or not. We still have more, the data collecting they do with the reval is not quite as extensive as what we do. It's, they do look at it, but it's still not quite to the extent that we do. So there's still a lot of work still to get done, to
Good.
get all the full sketching done, but, and we did speak to her about trying to do it in our software, which would be amazing. So one thing that's nice about dealing with a smaller vendor, you get a lot more flexibility with your wants.
okay,
And then, sales numbers. We had outside the village 4, 1 in the village. And then August numbers for my department. 47 reviews for reappraisal, and 43 for sales. That was my focus for this past month, so those numbers overlap. And then Michael was 9 and 9 for parcels and sites. Okay.
okay, good.
All right,
Thank
any
you.
questions?
No,
No?
thank you,
Okay.
appreciate it.
Good, that's great.
Jonathan's not here? No.
He submitted his report
Yeah,
already.
yeah. Danielle,
Hi, everybody.
hi.
On August 20th, we hosted the Suserino Breakfast. It was very successful. Along with Sue, Will Truitt was there, Deirdre was there, Gary, Bob, Mike, Doug, Chrissy, Kristen, Peter Duro was there with his staff, along with 25 to 30 members of the community. At that breakfast, Sue made the announcement that we are receiving our grant to make more improvements on the building. So between this grant of $56,000 and the previous grant, we have a total of $219,000 that are going into that building.
Awesome.
Since the Terlides building had some trench work done on it to make it full year water, we need to satisfy the Department of Health's request to hire a civil engineer to recommend the best solution to make it potable water in that building. So we are in the process of hiring a civil engineer for that. The question is whether or not to use UV or a chlorination system. So we'll keep you posted on that.
Okay.
Matt has already made tried to make contact with one of the engineers. Soccer Saturdays are in play starting last Saturday. Games are located at the McMillan Field. We have approximately nearly 70 participants, and it was a great day.
Is that good or bad?
It's lower,
It is?
yeah. But from what I understand, the other towns in the area are also
Are
low.
they good?
Pleasant Valley has extremely lower percentages. The Town of Washington Toddler Program opened this Monday with 12 registrants for our 10-month program. We still have available tickets for the September 27th Yankee game, which is the second to the last home game. You can run home and get your tickets. You can get those online here. October 7th is our grand opening of our Washington Adult Center. Our adult program will be on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 10 a.m. till 2. And Abby's been working really hard on making a great program for everybody. She also has the Dutchess County bus coming to talk to people about flu shots and how to keep healthy and check blood pressure and what is it called? Mobile health therapy. Mobile health therapy, yes, thank you. The programs will have a coffee hour, snacks, games, activities, and speakers that we're planning. On November 11th, which is Veterans Day, the recreation will be offering a free pancake breakfast to veterans and a guest of theirs. So we're trying to catch them before the parade. So if we can feed the parade people from 8 to 10, then they can get to the parade and they're full, their bellies are full for the parade.
Wait a minute, back up a minute, what parade?
Isn't there a veterans parade? Veterans Day parade?
No.
Is there some kind of
service.
Well, we have a
Okay.
service, yeah,
Okay.
but not parade.
And that again will be at the Terlides building. We are offering a paint and sip on November 21st. As it is our secretary, that is our planning and zoning secretary, happens to be a paint and sip teacher, so she's gonna come in and do a program for us, which is great. All supplies will be included, and you just have to bring your own sips. Registration has opened for gingerbread houses online, and in front of Gary, you have a contract for Dutchess Day for the basketball season, so if you can look that over, sign that if you're in agreement, and get that back to me, I would appreciate it. That's it.
Thank
Any
you.
questions?
Thank you. Anybody have any questions about this contract with Dutchess Day?
No.
You're okay with it? We're just gonna vote. Thanks, Daniel.
Veterans Day breakfast. Are you looking for sponsors for the cost of the breakfast?
I will never say no to money. Come on. I'll talk to you. Thank you.
Okay, Matt, welcome.
Evening, everybody. The sand filter fence. We had a new one installed back in March. We have to extend it into the water by 4 or 5 feet. People have been walking around it, even there's only about 60 inches of ground, and animals have also been getting around it. So there's a voucher for you to sign for that, and call them tomorrow. On August 18th, I closed the pool. I had no issues draining it or any of that. I laid out 3 soccer fields for the 2025 season. And also, Danielle and I have put together the estimates for the budget for next year. Most of my projects will be just maintaining what is there, because we have a park commission now.
Yeah, great.
And the last item is, I'd like to go out for bid to replace the roof on the Turlegius building.
Okay, so you know there's a little bit of a issue about that.
I
So what we're gonna do, when we're all back together, we're gonna get together with you, Jonathan, Skip, and see if we can't come to an agreement to figure out what needs to be done or doesn't need to be done.
All right,
Is that fair enough?
that's fair.
I mean, I'm the last one that wants to let it go if it needs to be done, believe me, because we've got a big investment up there.
Yeah, during my report, I'll give you the
Yeah.
input from the strategic planning committee.
Okay. Good.
That's it.
Matt, your hat,
Yes.
is that a Vietnam ribbon?
Yes, it says proud son of a Vietnam veteran.
Okay.
My father went on an honor flight on Monday.
Oh, that's
I got this hat
cool.
for him.
Did he like it?
Loved it.
Yeah, it's awesome. I went 2 years ago. It was, I saw the Vietnam ribbon. Yeah.
He served in 68 to 69.
What, was he in the Army?
He was a combat engineer.
In the Army,
Yeah.
yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I was there 65 and 66, but, you know, when it first broke out, so. A little different situation for me when I was there, but I'm glad to see you wearing that.
Thank you.
Thanks. And thanks for the report.
You're welcome.
Tony's not here. Chrissy?
Okay, so August is always a very slow month for the town clerk's office
Mhm.
every year. But we did bring in $5,166 worth of revenue. I did complete the clerk's report today. I will submit it to you tomorrow.
Is that revenue from hunting licenses mostly, or?
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah,
And, yeah, and that's with a lot of people buying them online, so we still have our guys coming in, which is
Okay.
nice.
that's great.
Also, September 20th is Community Day. We're gonna be having a table for the town of Washington. It's gonna be located in front of the Millbrook Home Shop. And I think Rec is doing a separate table, we'll be next to each other, right? Okay.
Where's the Millbrook Home Shop?
It's to the left of Stewart's, if you're looking at, across from the library.
Charlotte's used to be.
Where what?
Everybody knows where Charlotte's used to be.
Charlotte's.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, across the street from the new restaurant.
Got it, okay, all right.
And we'll have some fun stuff there that day. And we started a record retention project in the clerk's office, just updating the files, making sure we're up to date, boxing up things that can go in the basement, and also preparing boxes that can be shredded.
Okay,
And that's all I have.
good.
Perfect question. Are we gonna be bringing in a shredding service? by
We're gonna look
chance?
to do that.
Perfect, because we have some.
Yeah, because we have,
Okay.
I think, a lot of stuff that can go.
Okay, that'd be great.
Actually, I have some stuff too, I wouldn't mind having shredded.
Okay,
Right.
yeah. I'll make sure it's in the budget. Or we'll have to wait till January.
How do they charge?
I don't know, I
By
have
the
to,
weight?
I think it's by the weight.
Yeah, it's
We
not
just-
very expensive though, from what I've heard
We just
from
had
people.
it done at our house. Steve brought it last Friday. And it's the size of like a small garbage can, like, you know, like the Welsh cans. It's almost like our
Yeah,
recycling bin.
Yeah,
And you fill that up, don't put your cardboard, like the boxes, but you, all your papers. And how many of those you use is how they charge. I forget how much it is.
How many of the
Not by weight, I
containers?
think it's by weight.
Wait, it's by filling up this
You fill up the
container.
container.
Yeah.
Right, okay, that's how they do
Stuff it in.
Yep.
it.
I get in there and.
So we're not required to watch them destroy papers?
I don't think so. I think
Well,
it's,
they will
That-
come and they charge extra for coming. I don't know if they would charge us extra. My husband brought it down
Okay.
to their place. I think it's like by Dutchess County Airport because he kind of wanted to watch it shred.
well, they would come here though, right?
I think even the Bank of Millbrook
Yeah.
uses them.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that Hudson Valley shred?
HV shred, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
well, I'll give them a
Ruby's
ring and then I'll update you guys.
Yeah,
Alright.
check
Yeah,
if
let me
it's,
know, too.
if it's okay with government documents.
Yeah. 'Cause
I-
I
Thanks,
I thought
Kristen.
you had to watch it. I'm not.
I thought, I know, I've been told by others they did, but
That
that
was
may.
my assumption, yeah.
Right. Maybe they do a separate procedure that's acceptable possibly?
Yeah.
Mike?
The court was closed this week, so I don't have the numbers of the court proceedings, but I do have the financial statements that Lois indicated we did receive. There was $6,503 deposited in July. From that amount, state took $3,013 worth, and the town received $3,490 worth. Ethics Committee, no updates. Laura said everything's been pretty calm. They're just starting to think about how training will go and be in contact with Chrissy.
Yeah, I think they have a meeting this Monday.
Yes, I think they
I
do.
think that, yeah.
The Recreation Area Strategic Planning Committee met for the second time. This time they met up on the grounds of the Town of Washington Rec area, and they took a physical look at the swimming pool because it was drained. And they actually walked through the interior, looked at the concrete walls, the piping, the damaged pipes that are there, and had a good discussion about what we know is the aging of the property, particularly the pool area. And then we adjourned into the room and began to talk about what they've seen through the last couple of months in looking. One of the subcommittees has been looking at buildings, and they will have a recommendation on the main building, which acts as a concession stand, a storage area, a chlorine area, a first aid area. They'll have a recommendation on that. What we begin to understand is we've got to get a good strategic look at the property. So one of the committee members is going to try to access maps from the county and maps online, and then develop a map just of the property, so that when we start to strategize on what should be there, what should not be there, we can begin to move these things around to see if where they're located now, for instance, the playground. Right now, it's located next to the swimming pool, next to the Little League field. Is that the proper place for a children's playground? Particularly if something else happens to the building or something happens to the swimming pool. So looking at those kinds of things. So they're starting to really focus in and get excited about some of the
Good.
stuff that's going on.
Good.
2 targets were looked at now, and they feel should be immediately addressed. One is the roof, based on not only the feedback that has been received from Skip and a few others, but staff has looked at it. Some of the committee members who are builders have looked at it. And there is some, not necessarily structural faults with the roof, but more of when the roof was put on, was it put on to the proper standards and so on. So bringing together the full board, staff, some of the members even maybe from our committee,
Sure.
to discuss this, because I think it's important from 2 perspectives. One, it's now going to be 12 months a year building, so you're up there in the wintertime. And also with snow, heavy rains and so on, but also we're beginning to get people who are willing to invest in that building. Right now, it's the county. Down the road, it may be private people who want to put money towards what the ultimate result of this survey will be.
Yeah.
So you want to be able to say to those people, your investments are protected. So I think that's a good discussion we should have on that roof.
Yep.
But that was one. And the other, and I spoke to Joe about this, whether or not Danielle went to full-day camp or whether even this committee existed, there is a safety issue up at the park. There's only that one road in and that one road out. And if anything was to occur, either with the entrance road or out on 44, which would block the entrance road, if people were on the grounds, they're basically stuck. Vehicles over that wooden bridge up to the upper fields, that bridge was built with the knowledge that an ambulance or possibly a fire truck could go over, but it wasn't for traffic.
Right.
We do know that towards the Little Rest side of the park, we do own property from the park interior, which is now groomed, through the wooded area next to the horse farm and between the horse farm and the last house on Little Rest before you get to the horse farm. We do have access out to Little Rest. So preliminary discussion by the committee is, can we look at perhaps putting a utility road or some kind of road out from the grounds out that could be used as an entrance for the camp in the morning, one way in, and then once in, they would go out the main gate, out to 44. And also during the day, it could be used as a utility road for Matt or any other staff person, so they don't have to drive through swimmers and campgrounds and so on. The problem is, it's all wooded, and a lot of trees. We don't know what the topography is. We don't know what the subsurface is. So we need to get somebody in there to take a look at the distance from the cut ground out to the road and what's in there. So I want the board, perhaps at the October meeting, if we could talk about bringing somebody in, perhaps even the engineers that are helping us in Killarn, if they could go over and take a quick look, just to give us a ballpark idea of what the scope of work would need to be. The procedures, we know what would be. We'd have to go before planning, we may have to go before zoning, there might be wetlands, who knows. But I'd like to try and get money into the projected budget on the 26 budget to perhaps do work in the spring, and if not, in the fall. Because with a full day camp now, Danielle and the staff are gonna have to sit down, we're really gonna have to think about traffic flows, parking, because you're now gonna have a mixture of camp parents coming in and out, and then in the afternoon, you're gonna have citizens there to go swimming. So there's gonna be a bunch of cars. But they looked at those as probably the two initial things that should be looked at seriously. So
Yeah.
I'll bring that back.
Okay.
The other thing we've decided to do, to piggyback on the town representation at Community Day, we're going to do a walk-by survey of the public. And we're just gonna stop them and say, hey, we're looking at reimagining the town park. What would you like to see up there? Here's a sticky, write it down, tennis court, stick it on the board. Here's what I don't want to see. I don't want to see, 50 million cars, stick that on the other board. Then we'll take all those stickies, we'll collate them. The committee will then use those not only as an immediate survey, but we can develop questions that can go into a more lengthy survey that we could either use as a mailer, we could post it online, we could maybe, one of our committee members also oversees the magazine that goes out to the community, we can get maybe an article in there. So, and also to kind of tamp down some of the stuff that's bubbling up in the community already. A number of us have been approached and saying, you're doing away with the swimming pool. No, we're not. We're looking at trying to reimagine what could be up there and give people an idea.
Yeah.
Somebody
good idea.
might put
Good.
tennis courts, somebody might put pickleball courts.
Right,
Somebody might say more picnic tables. We just don't know.
yeah.
Danielle has added the question at the bottom of a handout questionnaire, 3 questionnaire. When was the last time you were up there? Because I have a feeling there are a number of people in the community that have never been there.
Probably, yeah.
So, well, we're starting to do that kind of analysis.
That's great.
And approach it more from a scientific perspective and
Yeah.
also a business perspective.
Yeah,
So we will be present at Community Day.
yeah, good. It's very well done. Yeah,
That's with reference to all-day camp. So all-day camp is gonna be going on, but the park in the afternoon will still be open to
Correct.
residents.
Yes, for swimming and stuff. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to really educate and designate where the public can park that is going to the pool, because right now when they come in, they literally park on the lawn, where in the morning currently, all of the drop-off occurs for camp. So we're gonna have to look at how we can direct people with signage and also educate people before even the park opens up next spring. Here's the new parking flow that needs to take place for people that are coming to the pool in the afternoon.
Absolutely.
The exit of summer camp would be 3 o'clock, 3:30, 4.
3 o'clock, and
3
then you
o'clock.
can stay as late as 4.
So it's gonna be between that 12 and 3. The other thing is, we've already talked about this, is designating exactly where crossing the road within the park are, so that people go to those areas and nobody's cutting behind cars and all of that.
Okay.
And that would be just like a crossway on Franklin Avenue.
Mhm.
We've got to use that kind of lining.
Okay.
But we'll work it out.
It'll work.
But it's a safety first.
Yeah.
The other thing with this concept of the new road is, we've got to avoid that backup on 44
Oh,
that
it's
sometimes
terrible. I'm
occurs.
surprised nothing's happened there.
And that's what we're trying to
Yeah.
avoid in the future.
Yeah,
Especially if we can get, we're guessing that the camp's gonna grow because it's now full day.
yeah.
So that means more cars. And right now in the line for drop-off and pickup, they're able to do 9 cars at a time. But it backs up a little bit
Yeah,
early.
well, sure.
And then a couple other ideas, maybe we stagger when the camp kids leave. Who knows, like you do sometimes in school. You let the 7th and 8th grade out first, and then you get the other kids. There's all concepts we can do, but we want to be safe.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's good. Thanks, Mike.
But please spread the word, we are not closing down the town.
Yeah, right, right. Okay, thanks. Doug?
Planning board was September 2nd, probably the shortest meeting that I've been to in my
Those are
10
good.
months.
Those are good.
2 items on the agenda. First was the Calern Road project. After many months, we finally had a resolution to approve all permits, adopted unanimously. Case closed, that came
Good.
done with planning board.
Good.
The only other item on the agenda last week was Beth Harris and her partner who bought 62 Old Route 82 is the old bed, the Blue Barn
Oh, yeah.
bed and breakfast by the Rotary.
Yeah,
Because it was empty for so long, they have to go back in front of the planning board for special use permit to return to the prior use of the accessory building to use as a B&B. Before we got to that, there was a very short discussion about conflict of interest between attorneys, and the applicant used the attorneys to purchase the property. They signed a waiver, no conflict of interest, they moved on. They went over the checklist of paperwork that they needed. Current survey was accepted as a site plan since it was a pre-existing. Type 2 under SECRA, public hearing scheduled for next month. Secretary will also notify the village of Millbrook of the public hearing. That was it. It was very quick, in and out. The shortest one, like I said, the shortest one we've ever
yeah, it
had.
doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't. And it was very quick. I don't think it was 30 minutes, was it?
No.
It was-
Great. Good.
Yeah. Assessor's office update, we kind of went over. Lisa and I have been working on that. Couple of things getting ready for her for small claims court. Helped her out with a few things on that. One of the things that we're working on over the winter, we'll be going over ag assessments and how many of them are legitimate and how many need to be looked at a little closer. That's a pretty big project.
Yeah. Yep.
But that's something that we'll go through little by little. We're going to do it road by road, is the way we've kind of decided to do it.
Okay.
The right to farm law that I keep bringing up, Kyle sent, I'm sure you guys, everybody got it. Kyle sent suggested changes today, and I have not really had a chance to look at them.
Yeah,
So I think the best thing to do is to look at that and then table it before we schedule a public hearing on that.
fair enough.
just so we make sure we have the right
Yep,
draft in place before we go any further.
good.
Town Highway Garage, Joe and I are gonna go look at Stanford's to kind of get an idea of what might be the Taj Mahal or the gold standard of what we would have to get. We're gonna meet, Deirdre's gonna help us, we're gonna go to the county property and look at that as well. And
so-
other than that, there's no real news to
Nice piece of property down there.
on that front.
Yes, you and I had looked at it previously.
Yeah, great spot.
Yeah, we'll look at it and
Yeah, right.
we'll have some ideas to
Yeah.
kick forward in the next
Thanks, Doug.
next month.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, Deidre, you have?
Really very brief. We had our county legislative meeting on Monday night, just this past Monday. And everything was on consent agenda but one item, which is an item of note. I think it's an important item. And that fact that we hired a new commissioner of emergency response. Our emergency response commissioner was, for the county, had resigned as of late 2024, so we had an acting commissioner in Bill Beal, and we went out twice on a search committee, and he kept rising to the top. So originally he didn't want the position, but I think he was negotiated his way into it. So we unanimously approved Bill Beal as our new commissioner of emergency response.
Yeah.
And what I think is important in that is that when we're doing the pilot for the emergency, for the ambulance, the
Yeah.
county ambulance and the fly cars. And so he was the one who developed the plan. It's his plan that we're going through right now. And he is the one that's collecting the data. So I think it's really seamless as we move forward with emergency service in the county and what it's gonna look like, that we have him kind of leading emergency services. He's super accomplished, been in emergency service, I think his whole life. And so we're very comfortable and confident with him at the helm of emergency services. So that was the big thing on our agenda. We're just really amping up now for a budget review. The county, we start our budget in October, and we'll receive the county executive's budget, and then we spend, a good 6-8 weeks as a legislature going through it
Yeah.
with department heads. So
Yeah, good.
it's kind of the lull before the storm for us.
Yeah, kind of with us too. But thanks for your help with these grants too.
Oh, you're welcome. Happy to.
Much appreciated, believe me. Any questions for Deidre?
No.
Anybody else have anything that they want to ask? We have a executive session plus attorney-client session to go into. So if nobody else has anything, Jeff, you can stay around. And Lois, you're going to stay, and Joe, right? Appreciate that. Thank you all for coming.
Bye, you
Thanks.
guys.
Hey, Matt.